And we have Ethan Hunter back on the podcast today, and we have his co-driver Alex with us, and we are excited to dive in on what has been going on in the ARA scene. And Ethan, how have things been? How's the race team? How's the car? What's going on, man?
Well, we just came off Olympus. We finished. Snowdrift, we did not finish. Unfortunately, we had a little oopsies. Ended up on our
Yep.
libs, rubber side up. And, but no, Olympus was good. We're just, clawing our way through these rallies, one rally at a time. They're grueling, each one of them in their own ways.
Yeah, man. You know, Dave and I, we made the trek out to Snowdrift to see there, and it was amazing. It really was like crazy trip, as you can see. This is the photo from there. And we had a great time, dude. And we got to see you at the park expose. We got to see a race. And unfortunately, Dave and I were sitting there in the cold waiting for you to come by, and you never did. And then we realized something went horribly wrong. Dude, I wish that you could have seen Dave because he had these tiny little boots on and he was just shaking his little boots the whole time. It was like, I felt so bad for him. But yeah, man. I mean, it was really cool. It was an eye-opening experience for us. I mean, I think that we really got to dive in and get that full experience of what it is to like do a rally and do it the right way. We ran into a ton of people that we knew and had this like huge party, and it was like sick. We had,
Yeah.
I was sold on Snowdrift based on how you were talking about Bonfire Rally and how big it was and like wanting to race it before you spectated it and things like that. And so I wanted to get the experience of going when they don't do it and how it is with the community and the people there and how they were going to react to that. And so I felt like it was honestly really great. I thought that like things started off mild. People didn't really know what to do, and it felt very different than every other year is what I kept hearing. And people were saying that like it made me want to go back because people kept saying like if you think this is good, like you have no idea. They kept saying like Bonfire Alley is a whole nother animal, and like there's just nothing like it. And so like with the experience we had, it was so good that like thinking that like it's 10 times better with that, I was like, we have to go back.
Yeah.
So, hopefully next
We
time when
learned
we do
so
go,
much.
you don't flip.
Was that your
Yes.
first time spectating for a rally, or was that your first time at Bonfire Rally or Michigan?
That was my first rally spectating.
Okay.
I haven't really done much rally stuff, but I think Dave, I think you've been to a rally before.
No, I haven't been to a rally. That was my first rally event. I've been to Pikes Peak. I usually go every year. So not quite the same, a little bit different.
For spectators, I'd say it
Actually,
definitely has a lot to
even though-
unfold, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that the cold really like when we first got there, I felt like it was brutal, and I was like, I remember the first day, I was like, man,
We weren't ready.
I was like, I would be ready to pack it in right now. Like, I'm so done. Like, this is like horrible. And then we went back
Why?
to Airbnb. First off, number one tip for anybody, get an Airbnb with a hot tub. That was a
Yeah.
slam dunk. That was like, we came back to the Airbnb, got in the hot tub, and we were like, done. We'll go back tomorrow. No big deal. And then like when we went back the next day and we ran into all of our friends and we were just like drinking, having a good time in the woods. Everybody had music playing. It was like such a good time. Dude, it just changed everything. The whole mood changed. Everybody was so happy to be there. Like, and it was funny how it happened because Dave and I were just standing there with our friends. Like we got there, it was all, crowded with like trees and stuff. And like, there was nowhere to really sit. And like, we were kind of trying to set up makeshift, whatever. And then like a crew of people we knew rolled in and they just brought chainsaws and stuff and like all the lighter fluid. And they started cutting everything down and like making the spot. And then in like 10 minutes, everything just transformed. It was like perfect. So it was just crazy, man.
It became a rave in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. But so what was your experience at Snowdrift? I talked to Ethan a little bit. Alex, I'm curious how it was for you being the co-driver and how this race went for you guys.
Co-driving, well, it's our second time at Snowdrift, my first time co-driving. So the first time was crew chiefing. So I kind of got to experience it like all the way around because the first time I got to crew chief, and then also because the car caught fire, I ended up getting to spectate. So it was kind of a lot. Like I understand it's a lot to unfold, but this time around as a co-driver, I'm grateful that it wasn't my first rally because it was so. Snowdrift is so unique. It's such a unique rally, especially like through the ones that we've been so far, like Washington and Missouri. It's one of the more laid back ones. So it would kind of make, if you did that as your first one, you might get bad habits. So it was kind of cool being able to have that kind of as like go to show me first and then this one. And so I was actually kind of prepared for it more than I thought I would be, but it was short lived. So
Yeah. It really is like I get what you're saying in the terms of it being laid back because what I kept running into was like I'd go up to people that are working there and I'd be like, "Hey, like what is this? Like where do we go? Here's the maps that I was given, like what's going on?" And the guys were like, "You know more than I do." I'm like, "Yo, you work here." Like, I was like, what do you mean? So, it was just such a crazy experience, but like it was cool to get to sponsor it and stuff and like try to support you guys and what you do. And I mean Dave and I had a blast. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that what was cool was going to tallies and meeting all the people that are like local there and stuff. And like, dude,
Best burgers ever.
we met everybody who was there for Bonfire Rally the previous year, and they shared with us all these videos and stuff of them there with the flamethrower and all the craziness. And I was like, I can see the safety issues, but also like that looks sick. And I was like, this is actually like totally 10 miles above whatever was going on this year, So they need the middle ground, I think. Like flamethrower is like way up here, and then it's like this year is like here. They need like something like,
right.
maybe they give Travis the flamethrower. So
But you got to see a lot of I think the purists come out this year.
Right.
Like Patrick was saying about
that was true.
the
Yeah.
people that came out this year were, okay, there's no Bonfire Alley. So be it. We're still here to support it. We're still here to spectate and enjoy an amazing event because it was still an amazing event, hands down.
Right.
And again, the best burgers ever. How could you?
Yeah.
Ethan told me, he texted me, he said, "Hey, dude, best burgers ever at Tally's." I'm like, say no more.
Tally's is good. Yeah. Amazing. They got good barbecue.
Yeah. I don't know how they do
Yeah.
it. Like we went both nights and it was perfect every time. So shout out to them.
It is interesting what Dave just said is that I did pick up day 2. We went to the track and there was a family that I guess lives local and they had like their whole camp set up with like coolers and grills and everything. And people were walking on the track and they were getting yelled at. And they were like, "Yo, we come here every year for like the last 20 years." And they're like, "Don't ruin this for us," kind of thing. And I guess like the people that are local and they do it every year or like their repeats, I think that they were getting frustrated with the fact of what happened last year. And it just kind of was like, you got that sense that like they were kind of ticked off from what happened. So
Yeah, you got to respect
and the event, I think, owed it to them. Yeah, the event owed it to them to say, you know what, we're gonna dial it down a little bit.
No, yeah, some of the locals were amazing. Gary, shout out to Gary, he was awesome. There's this guy. He's so diehard. He was just shuttling around people back and forth because it was from spectator area back to their cars was so far. So he was just because he lived on the property, he was able to get through, and he was just shuttling everybody back and forth. When we finally, day 2, I think it was, when we set off, I had some random guy in the crowd take our picture, and he offers me a cozy, and it's that same dude who ended up shuttling my sister. And he was giving away his cozies with his face on it. Gary's awesome, man. Yeah, the locals are so diehard over there. It's awesome. Freezing out there too.
yeah.
They're used to it apparently.
Yeah, I know. We're overdressed and they're in like just shirt, jeans, and boots.
Yeah, they get a flannel shirt on,
right,
and some blue jeans, and you're like, bro, I'm wearing enough to go to Antarctica right now, and I'm still cold. And he's just fine. He's like, yep, just hanging out.
Right,
normal day.
I wasn't sure it was going to be worth it. I brought my WRX and I packed 3 of us into it, and it was tight. I had my cargo carrier and everything, but I was like, "I don't wanna bring my 4Runner out to this event because of what it is." I thought it would be pretty fun to, like, bring my car, and dude, totally right, because the roads are so wide and they're all snow, and then, like, to get
You can
to
have some
where the
fun.
spectator area is, it's like a mile or 2 in, so, like, your whole ride in and out, like, you're just like, just ripping turns and like, I had a blast.
Yeah,
But,
fun.
The road in and out of our Airbnb, Patrick and I every day were going sideways.
yeah, it was crazy. I got stuck on our driveway because the snow was so high. I was like,
Sometimes the best way to get around there is to slide around. I don't know
"It's
if I
true."
can say that because we were in rentals, but
Yeah. So, Ethan, talk to us a little bit about your road to Olympus and what you guys were kind of like thinking after coming out of Snowdrift and getting some rally experience under your belt and flipping the car. Like, first off, what was the process of like after the flip? What was like, where do we go from here? And then what was your thought process like moving forward from that?
Yeah, we bought a new front wrap, so that included a new front bumper, front fenders, new hood. We needed a new windshield. We had a guy beat the roof back straight and do some stud pulling and got everything to fit. The doors really didn't fit very good after the fact, so we had to get a new set of doors. And that was pretty much it for the body work. We had like an intercom that went bad. Just some little things, from rolling over. I even asked Dave after the fact. I text Dave. I was like, "Hey, the car was upside down for like 30 minutes. What kind of issues are we going to have with like the oil system or like coolant or, anything that was going to go wrong upside down with the engine?" But then we were talking, hey, that's like an airplane used engine. So it's fine. It's, there's check valves and all that stuff. My oil catch can was full. We ended up busting a radiator cap.
Yeah.
Me and Alex were looking for where the coolant had came from. We thought it was from the overflow, but the overflow was still full. We ended up busting a radiator cap, so we lost a little bit of coolant. Good thing we didn't drive that much more after we rolled it. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
I think it ended up costing probably in the neighborhood of like $2,500 to get it fixed.
Ethan reacted so fast, though. Probably saved the engine with how fast he reacted. If you're watching the video,
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
we're flipping, he's already going for the switches to kill the engine. So pretty fast reaction.
Yeah, I think I should pop up that video now just so we can kind of give everybody an idea of what happened here. So, this is the video.
You guys are moving.
They're flat out.
Mhm.
It's all ice and just whoop.
Yeah, he was already going for the toggle switch way before. My Red Bull.
Not the Red Bull.
Well, and I wasn't there, of course, in the moment, and it's hard to tell, from the video, but it's safe to say that there's so much that goes into rally where, especially in a snow event, where the ruts start to develop and things like that. So, it seemed like there wasn't a misjudgment of the corner by any sense. It was just, it just pitched over. It was a kind of a perfect storm.
Exactly.
I
As
think
many times, at least that I've watched it. Again, not that I'm some some analyst, but I've watched it a couple times over, and it just seemed like it more so got kind of stuck in a rut type of deal that kind of provocated everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I mean,
I'd like
we're just
you guys
on.
to
Go ahead.
yeah.
I mean, we're on no studs, and I think that's the problem. No studs. You just have no grip sometimes. You can go from like 40% grip to 0% grip in a matter of 100 feet. And it's obviously in the braking zones. All the braking zones turn to ice because that's where everybody locks them up and it starts to buff the ice. And right there was a braking zone, and I should have
Yeah.
braked. I mean, if I would have braked, 50 feet earlier, it probably would have been fine. But it's just one of those things.
It was just things that we didn't know, and it's a lesson that we learned, but it Pastrana, all the top guys, when they were going through even that section to slow down, because they were flat out, when you go to brake with no studs and everything like that, you're on ice, so you're sliding. They were putting their cars in the bank to slow them down. So they would put the front into the bank, spin
Yeah.
around, and then use that
I
to
saw
slow the
that.
car down. So video game tactics, like who would think to do that in real life to your car to just bin it before the turn? So
Hey,
you live
listen,
and you learn.
everybody saw the NASCAR video where the guy just
Right,
railed
yeah.
the wall.
Ross Chastain.
Video games are real life, and Dirt 3 is where I will live.
Yeah. I love that the governing body immediately banned that though. They're like, that's it, never again.
Yeah.
You can never do that ever again. They were like, don't ever try that.
Perfect
It's such
storm, man.
bullshit because that's the new meta.
Yeah, perfect storm.
They're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, but you guys kind of had the perfect storm in the bad way. You know, that's kind of what I was saying. It was like it was an amalgamation. Ethan said it well about the breaking point too. That's another consideration. Breaking point, and also everyone's turning in. They're trying to find the same turn-in points, and you're going to develop ruts that are going to change and determine your pitch into a corner. You know, you could turn into a certain point, and if the ruts are built a certain way, it's you know, kind of a moot point. You're just running into a track almost at that point, you know? And I feel like, again, not saying it was a setup, you know, it's these things happen in racing, you know? You can't predict the amount of rubber on a certain corner, you know? Same thing on a track.
Yeah, that's a really
Where the
unique thing
grip
about
is.
rally for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, I think it's really interesting that it shows how hard rally is, right? Because, I mean, Ethan, you've had experience on Pikes Peak, you've had experience with drifting, you know, you've had experience with now rally, and like going into a turn like that, you would think that like it's something that you would kind of have a little bit of experience, maybe sliding like that or coming in hot or whatever. But like, dude, like the conditions are so crazy, and like not having studs, like it's just
Unpredictable.
totally, you just don't know what you're coming into, especially at those speeds, and like trying to even like save it is, you know, you see what happens. Like you just don't expect that that's how it's going to go, but it's tough. It's tough to gauge. I'm sure that like, especially Snowdrift to be like your first like rally out and trying to like compete and stuff, like that's a tough track in the snow with no studs. I can't even imagine. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, thankfully you guys were okay and you took some awesome photos off of that. But you know, do you guys feel like you're a little bit more confident after having like, to me, right? I would see it as, you know what, first flip out of the way. Like now I'm not so worried about flipping. It's more of like, how do we not do that again? You know?
Yeah.
Dollar
I mean,
sign
that was
now.
like the easiest. Yeah, that too. I mean, it's different. You definitely drive different when it's your own money and it's your own, you know, it's your own wallet that you're hurting. But I mean, if you look back, I mean, that's literally like the easiest corner ever. It's a left three. It's just, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just a normal corner, but
Mhm.
perfect conditions for a perfect storm. And, you know, you can hear I'm on the gas to try to get the car to turn in.
Mhm.
I wish I could have, you know, nosed the car in beforehand. You know, if I would have known, hey, let's stuff this car in sideways, or, you know, I just figured we were going to hit the snowbank and then boom, bounce out of it or stuff it. Or it's like I picked the only dirt wall that was out there. It's like everything else was snowbanks, but I hit somebody's driveway and it's just like, dang, you know, it's
Yeah.
just, rally has a funny way of humbling you.
Perfect storm,
For
like you
sure.
said.
Yeah. Yeah. You
You
can
know,
never
I
predict
will
rally,
say
for
the photo of you guys is iconic, and I think that it's gonna like basically be the poster for Snowdrift this year. Like there just like was not any other pictures I saw that matched the energy of you guys standing on top of the car. It's just crazy.
Agreed.
That was like my second thought. My first thought was like
You know,
super anger. I threw my glasses and then I was like, you know what? This is rally. We got to take a picture. Come on.
Yeah, I've never seen someone super upset and then super stoked at the same time.
yeah.
But what I was going to say was, I mean, sometimes you just got to remember to enjoy, you know, even the small things, you know, even flipping the rally car. I mean, how many times are you going to get to flip a rally car with your buddy? You know, that's just, even though it sucks, it's still cool, you know, and you're still living somebody else's dream, even though, you know, we all want the bigger race cars and faster stuff, and everybody wants something more, but you got to remember that right now you're living somebody's dream, so you got to enjoy it for sure, even when your car's upside down.
Yeah, 100%. Um I'll just make a note for anybody listening. We are going to be showing some photos that Ethan shared from his races and some stuff that he took on the road. So if you guys check out the video for this, either on Spotify or YouTube, you can see this stuff. But I'll try to describe it the best I can. So the first photo that Ethan shared. It says last minute flat on the way back to the Airbnb, and it's them on the side of the road in a snowbank. They got a wheel off, and they assume it seems like they are in the middle of fixing a flat tire. So
You know, every event I've co-drive so far for Ethan, we've had a flat tire, some form of another, either on the recce car or on the. Normally it's the rally car, but this last time was the recce car. It was really abusive on it. I mean, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Enterprise.
Now I have a good question. I don't know what the regulations are. I don't study the rules. I know in motocross they have foam liners inside their tires. Are you guys allowed to do something like that?
I mean, rally tires
Ethan,
are
go ahead.
Like
already
a foam
so.
filled tire?
Yeah, I mean, rally tires are already so tough. The main thing what pops a tire is like an extremely sharp rock or something like a giant hole, like a pothole, or if something's gonna pop a rally tire, it's gonna pop whatever's inside of it too. I mean, there's really not much that's gonna help with that because it's still belted. The sidewalls you can barely move them even with 3,000 pounds on the car.
Sure.
There's videos of the rally cars having
They're
zero
pretty
psi and they'll run for miles and miles with 0 psi in them. So I don't know if any foam would help because of, especially like I know in RC cars with the foam and when foam gets wet, then it turns into a mess. It turns into an unbalanced tire. So I bet you it'd be the same on a large scale car too.
We've also ran tubes, and
Yeah.
we haven't had as great an experience just with running them normal. So
Yeah, we ran tubes in the Snowdrift tires so we could run lower PSI without debeating. And that just had kind of its own set of problems too. So I think Snowdrift is more of just a survival thing. Anytime you try to go fast, you just need to be
100%.
able to, be prepared to just make your car into a snowbank. So
Do you think it would make sense to run some form of rally tire that has the features of like a run flat?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, most of our
I mean, that's
punctures,
kind of
it's
what
not
my
like
thought
we're
was with
running
the foam.
overnight. Oh yeah, the foam. I mean, I don't know if there's gonna be a foam out there. I mean, I guess that would have to be something, myth busted. I'm not. I
Well,
haven't done
like we were saying,
any type of. Go ahead.
yeah.
normally,
There's different composites, I feel like.
right?
That's
If
all.
you look, recently in WRC, I think it was Argentina. There's a video of the in-wheel like footage, and the base of the tire is completely shredded, and it's just the sidewall. The sidewalls on the like those MRFs or some of those like those really nice rally tires are super stiff. It was straight, like the car was standing up on just the sidewalls. There's no base or anything like that. So like you say,
Yeah.
by the time that tire's done, almost anything on the inside is going to be like more detrimental than anything, for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. I mean, a lot of these rally events too, that you watch, a lot of these guys, they'll just run on the rim at that point.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like it's
Yeah.
almost better for steering. So
Right.
yeah, I get that. I do love the hood pods that you guys got. I've always been a big fan of rally pod lights. Those are sick.
People love them or they really hate them. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Big old lights.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see in this next photo, it shows Ethan coming
Yeah.
around a corner, and you could just
Look at
see
that.
how lit up the woods are with these lights. It's crazy.
Amazon,
Oh
baby.
man.
There's a reason you need that. There's a reason you need that. People don't understand why you need something like that and why some of these companies, exist, like Diodynamics or whoever, because yeah, you can get output like this that is usable for a certain scenario.
Right. We're actually, and believe it or
so
not, we're
dark out
actually
there.
we're one of the like duller lights. There's the bigger teams, their lights are so bright, insane.
Yeah. Dave and I were out there this night, and it was cold, man. It was like the first night was bad. It was like the fires weren't that big. People were kind of hanging. Dude, I was sitting in a snowbank, and I had snow coming over into my lap because my legs were all the way down in the snow. Like, it was just crazy. We were buried, and it was freezing. But yeah, man, this was, I believe, day 2, right?
Right before the flip.
Unless this was
Right before the flip, yep.
Right before the flip, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That looks like day 2. It was actually semi-nice and sunny on day 2.
Yeah,
I
because
was
day 1, I
vi-
think we started at night. So I don't think there was any.
Yeah, no, day 1 was frigid. to say the least.
Funny
Yeah.
story about that. So after we took this story or took this picture, Ethan was more worried about damaging the wing on that deck lid. So before anybody did anything, we pulled that deck lid off so that thing didn't get jacked up.
Hey, I don't blame you. Like, dude, at the point where you flip the car, it's like you need to save everything that is like,
Right. Preservation of anything that matters.
yeah. I mean, this is just I said it before, this is the most iconic photo I think of the whole event. Like, I feel like everybody was talking about this when we were out there spectating and people were showing each other pictures of it, and it was just really cool to see you guys. I mean, unfortunately, I wanted to see more of you guys driving, but it was cool to see you guys getting passed around and people being like, "Holy crap, look, this is so crazy." You know, it's like really cool. So, everybody who showed me the picture, I was like, "I know him." I was like, "He's with us." Yeah.
Even more of a reason to
But,
go back.
hey, man, I'm fully committed to going next year. I think Dave and I are both, we were excited, so
I'm craving those burgers, man.
Dave
So,
can't get over the burgers.
I can't get over the Tally's burgers, man. I can't.
They had a drink there that was really good too. I can't remember the name of the drink. Oh goodness, over me right now.
Yeah, I was down in drinks at that place. It was awesome.
I just realized they had the other day I saw a video where they had a screenshot of the menu, and I was like, "Oh wait, they have other things." And I was like, "Okay, next time I'm gonna get like, well, I'm gonna do like the Anthony Bourdain and get one of everything." Because shout out to Tally's, I don't think they can do wrong.
But
So anybody listening, we're looking at a close up of the car flipped, looking at the underbody. Now, my question is like, anybody who doesn't race, right, like probably doesn't know what happens from here, right? Does the ARA come out and inspect the car? Is like the top priority just to flip the car? Are you basically, is there any kind of checklist they have to do to make sure that it's not going to like catch fire, or like I just like, do they let you drive it after this? Do you tow it? Like, what is the game plan once you flip?
well, it just in this case because it was blocking this. It was blocking more than 90%. This did like it was an SOS. Um, in their last rally, for example, I mean, there was cars all through littered throughout the road, and as long as you could still get by at a reasonable pace, then it was okay. But in this case, it was an SOS, so all drivers stopped as soon as they came up to us. Second driver in line takes all information and goes to the nearest like outpost, basically. And they radio. It's a radio post, is what it is, and they radio that in. The information to like the ambulance and stuff like that. In our case, because there wasn't any medical and there was no fire, there wasn't like any severity or like they weren't there was an urgency to get out there to us. So essentially it was just shutting down the stage, getting the drivers that are on the stage now through to get to the next stage, so basically transit, and then from there the sweep vehicle at the very end, because you guys spectated, so you see at the very end there's like trucks and stuff like that that are going through, and those are called sweep vehicles. And if you get passed by the sweep vehicle, then you're out essentially. So sweep will come by and either flip you over, or then they'll keep going, and then they'll have like their recovery team come and get you back over. So from there, the recovery team picked us back over, and we did drive the car through the rest of the stage. So as long as you feel comfortable driving the car and stuff like that, then you can. So we drove the car the rest of the stage, and that's when we knew the car was not going to make it the rest of the event. So so instead of destroying the
I
car
just imagine Ethan with his head out the window, like, I got this.
Yeah, he was more conscious than I was, obviously. I was like, "Man, are you sure we can't limp it through just one more stage back to service?" But it was smoked. The car, even just trying to get through the rest of it, it wasn't doing great. So as soon as
It
the end of
wasn't
the
happy.
stage came, no, it wasn't happening. So as the end of stage came, we ended up getting the truck and trailer out there to just come pick us up and get it back to service. But yeah,
So
Hey, in classic Subaru fashion, it made itself, it got itself to the end.
oh, it started great.
so
As soon as it flipped back over, it started immediately.
so the cars, the cars that are behind you that are like a DNF basically because they're just going to the next stage after this, are they not going to get any kind of time because they were behind you? Like, how does that work?
They get what essentially you could call like a par time. So like whoever was
Okay.
the slowest of that went through before, everybody gets that time. So it's fair. So even like Travis Pastrana, let's say, if like the last person to go through did 1:10, but he did like 57 seconds or something like that. This is hypothetical. Then he still gets the 1:10. And then everybody else before who didn't get to run or after who didn't get to run will also get that 1:10 or whatever they dictate. Or
Okay.
there's also what's called a lateness time. And that is like the minimum time it takes to drive through at kind of like a race pace is how like they like dictate it. And those are on the cards, and sometimes you'll have to go based off your lateness time, but they'll let you know immediately once
Yeah.
you get back to service.
So
And is that like
the
an
late-
assumed time or just like an actual, does somebody run through with just some generic, not generic, but, some vehicle and kind of see what could you do, just, kind of sandbagging it, let's call it.
I'm not too sure the math behind the lateness time, because when we
Okay.
recce through some trails, it definitely takes us a lot longer than lateness time to get through some of those trails recceing. So just driving at 35 miles per hour, and that's all that they can go through on those trails until your race day. I'm sure there's some math that they make out of that, how long it takes to get through at 35. I don't know, but I'm not too sure like the exact math behind it, but it definitely isn't just drive through and however long it took them to drive through, for sure.
Okay. No, that's interesting.
And so you're saying that the lateness time, it's kind of like a default time for the track for like what? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
They call it a bogey time if you're familiar with golf terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think out of all the pictures you sent me, Ethan, this one is my favorite because if you've ever seen the pictures that they take where it makes like real life video or pictures look like miniatures, it looks like a Hot Wheel version of your car in this picture. I love that. And dude, it's like this is like such a cool picture too of you guys racing. I love it. You got you guys ripping the corner here. So funny story, this corner, Dave and I are in the back where that orange light is. That's where we were sitting in the snow. So on the left, right behind your windshield, that's our whole crew where that light is.
Sick.
And that's where I was like buried. Yeah. And then we had friends that were on the inner circle where this picture was taken from. So we were just kind of all over this corner, which was cool.
For the record, we saw a lot of people struggle with that corner.
But yeah, that corner was like rough.
We saw a couple people, not shaming any, I won't name any names, but come to a complete stop.
Name the names.
Like they couldn't do it. No, it wasn't you guys. It was not you guys. Obviously, look at the picture. You guys are on it. No, there was a couple teams that misjudged that corner. Like you were saying earlier about Ethan, about like the braking zone and the turn-in zone and all that stuff. And all of a sudden they came to a complete stop because it was kind of a self-preservation aspect. It's like, okay, try to push forward and wreck the car, or okay, maybe I can try to save this. But again, not every situation's the same,
Yeah.
And this corner was, I feel like, a lot more forgiving in that because you had a lot more offshoot straight. And hey, I'll say a name for anyone who wants to know. We all famously saw Nick Woodman of GoPro overshoot a corner. Very, very fast.
Get him.
And even the marshals had to lift the gate, the banner, what do you call it, the caution tape,
Like caution
out of the
tape,
way. Yeah, because he was just going. There was just he was just straight lock up, going straight.
That was one of my favorite moments because we were right there. He just like blew
Yeah,
right
we were
by
right-
us, and then he backed up, and I had the camera right here as he was like just kicking up snow on his way back to the track.
Yep. There was
Shame.
no turn in. It was just I'm going straight through this corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like
Well, it
that.
looks
You know,
like
once you go, it's just nothing, no grip.
yeah. I got a photo up here of what looks like the parts that Ethan had to order to rebuild this car after the flip. We got fenders, hood, bumper, pretty much everything that you guys destroyed. So
Yeah, that's $700.
Now, I have
Right
to ask, I'm impressed. You were able to get the hood and the fenders brand new and the bumper and everything, it looks like?
Yep. Yep. From an aftermarket company
Wow.
in Denver. Yeah, that was like $600 or $700 worth of parts right there. Not bad. For all
Okay.
new.
So
Wow.
again, not knocking it, it's aftermarket stuff, but it's not OE. I was curious
Yeah,
if you can still find
it's called
OE
a
fenders.
company called Certifit is the company. It's CERTI
Yeah.
fit, but we call it sorta fit because it sort of fit.
Sure. But okay. But hey, for a rally car, it's perfect,
I mean, all the lines
Yeah.
don't match up anyway.
Well, for a rally car, it sort
right?
of fit. Yeah.
Hey, you guys have a hammer. You guys have a hammer, right?
I mean, they
Man,
fit pretty good
that's
though.
awesome.
I mean, gosh, for
It
$700
looks better
or
than it did
$600
before the
bucks.
flip.
Tappy.
Yep.
No, that's amazing, dude. That's a huge shout out. Again, not no plug to Certifit, but that's actually great that you're able to find parts for the car, because as you guys know, when you get into these older chassis, it gets harder and harder and harder to find certain parts.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Thankfully, Subaru has such a good aftermarket, but the good thing is that you guys are keeping your rap guy in business. I'm sure he's happy.
Yeah,
So,
that's me.
yeah.
That's me, and I work for Co-driver, I guess. I don't know.
I work for
It's all
Co-driver. That's awesome.
it's all unpaid position.
Yeah. Ethan, I'm starting to catch a little bit of what's going on over there at the Really Rap team. Everybody's just swapping hats and like doing 9 different things.
Yep. We're all a jack of
Hell
many
yeah.
trades.
Hey, you know what? That fits pretty good. I'll give it to you.
Yep.
That fits pretty good. Now, what'd you guys do about the roof? Still looks pretty caved in.
Yeah, they just beat it out with some hammers and some stud pullers. I mean, it really wasn't even that bad.
And you guys got a new windshield? I know that's your specialty.
Yeah. No,
we had one on
got a good
standby. We
black
just
guy.
didn't bring it out to Michigan.
Yeah, we did have an extra one. We just didn't bring it. But now we know how to bring them. We didn't really know how to trailer a bare windshield in a trailer, but now we kind of figured it out. Got some pool rules and some creativity.
That's a good logistical point. People don't think about that.
Yeah, it's like
That's
easy. Oh yeah,
awesome.
just bring the
There's a lot
windshield.
of-
It's like, well, how?
Yeah.
But now we know.
That's
It made
awesome.
it. I mean, we got
Yeah,
it back.
man.
We got a windshield all the way to Washington and back, and it didn't crack. So I think we kind of figured it out.
Man, I kind of like the black front end too. Looks good.
Like a
Matches the
bumblebee,
black
huh?
and yellow theme. Man, that does look good though with the pods on
So the
there.
roof
Everything
is
all
fixed in
lined
there.
up. Everything.
If you zoom in,
I
you can
see
see the
that,
roof
yeah.
is fixed. Yeah.
And you got the windshield out too. Yep.
Yeah. And then Alex just freehanded the side,
See,
right?
fix
You
is
just
a relative
freehanded it?
term,
Right.
Kind of. Yeah, I just pieced together what we had for the sides to finish
That's
it off.
awesome.
I don't think it's
Yeah, that
wrapped
looks
right there. I
great.
can't see. I'm in the way.
No, it's just yellow.
Yeah, because we just painted it. We just had
Now,
them paint it.
that-
Oh, well, there's the doors.
That makes
Yep.
me think of an interesting question. I'm curious about events like Snowdrift, as we're still kind of on the trend. I've always found, depending on conditions, that a yellow or amber light output can be very beneficial in terms of maximizing your visibility in terms of
I like it. I
distance.
think the yellow looks good, like visually, just for like my eyes. Maybe I'm getting older, but I mean, what do you think, Alex? I think in the dust, it definitely picks up a different type of visual.
Dust,
I saw
yeah,
Tim
same
Tam.
thing.
I'm sorry. That Tim Tam just brings it out of me. No, I to be honest, I'm always seeing red at night because I'm just looking at the notes and the red is all I see. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I've never really got to drive the thing at night or really had to do it. But personally, just on like my normal cars, yeah. I mean, driving through the snow with yellow light, where the way we have it pointed to, like in Washington, it was really helpful because it kind of gave you like a scan around the corner. But I don't know if that was it was mainly just how they were
Do you
pointed.
guys have any kind of like filters or like lens covers you can put on those hood lights to where they're amber. Like that's one
We
thing
used to
I'm
have
thinking about
amber ones, yeah.
adaptability.
Yeah, we used to have amber covers for them, but I think we put new lights in them now. So
Okay.
Ethan would be able to tell you if there's amber ones still, but
Well, and sorry to keep on the trend, but one last question I'm curious about lighting is, has anybody, I don't know if this is legal or not, has anyone thought about adaptive lighting to where it turns the corner with you? And now you could also offset that to where, it turns with the wheels and less, an accelerometer to where, okay, yeah, you now go into a corner and oversteer, now you can have the lights where you're trying to go. I don't know. I'm thinking about adaptive lighting
You know,
possibilities.
Dave, you're touching on an area that I love, which is kind of my active aero fascination, but active lighting. I'm a
Mhm.
big fan. I like anything that's
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible with money,
What's
but
your thought on that?
I mean, obviously, it would be nice. I mean, anything that
Is
could
that
help
legal
you in
even?
rally. Oh yeah, I mean, I've driven some Cadillacs that have that active lighting and stuff. So I don't see why you couldn't integrate that into a rally car. I mean, some of the richest people in motorsports are in
Is that
rally, so I'm
legal
sure
in
that.
in rally?
Oh yeah, I don't see
there's
why.
no rules
I mean, it's
against
not
it.
in our rule book. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Our rule
Okay.
book,
So
American
if
Rally
you
rule
were
book's pretty
if
thin.
someone were to make it work.
Dave,
Ooh.
I think we've figured it out.
I got some ideas for you guys.
It's just gonna be Alex with 2 flashlights, and as he goes around the corner, he's just gonna turn and like tilt the right direction, and then one of these
Yeah. Yeah, we were gonna install some old cop lights on the front so I could just turn it and whenever I saw a sus corner.
Yo, to be honest, that would be so sick if you had the little handle and you could, from in the car, you could just adjust the lights, or like as you're going by fans, you just flash them and then like keep going. Like,
Or he goes left 3 and turns the light 3 degrees.
Yeah.
I don't know.
that's
I'm
amazing.
already
looking for a
honking my
cop
heart
light
out,
now.
man. Oh, Tim Tam.
So what is this picture you sent me? It's somebody
I'll let
at
Alex explain this
what
one.
looks like a
Oh,
casino.
that's cousin Tim Tam, and he's winning at the slots.
Oh my
That
gosh.
boy turned $10 into $320 on the pugs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
What?
know. He called it too. He said this machine's about to win money, and I got pugs at home. I'm gonna put $10 in her, and $10 turned into 320, and with one button click.
Wow. That's
My
insane.
God.
Yeah, that's Tim Tam the man.
And then Alex put in $300.
I don't want to talk about it. I put in $300 and I lost.
Well, it had to make back the $300 somewhere. You were the next guy.
Yeah, I know. Someone had it. Some have to lose for others to win.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I think that
Well-
slot machines have like little cameras in them, and they like pick people who they want to exploit.
I know.
Yeah.
And
They
they
saw-
know my problem. I love slots.
Yep.
They knew that he had
said, "We got
generational
'em."
addiction problems, gambling addiction problems.
Yeah. Hey,
That's the
I'll
Asian
admit
in
it.
me.
I don't gamble for a lot of reasons.
Right. It's
Yeah.
the Asian in us.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was on a
we didn't
reservation,
have-
so
Yeah, we were all good. We kept Dave away from that, and then there was no ramen shops or anything up in Michigan, so we had no
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. Why is there no Korean barbecue in
Yeah.
Upper Michigan?
No
Come
hot
on.
pot.
You mean you couldn't find free
I-
barbecue in Gaylord, Michigan?
No,
Dude.
I was very disappointed.
Yo, I gotta tell you a story. We were having so much fun in Gaylord, Michigan. We went to Walmart, and they had Gaylordopoly, which I guess the town had made their own Monopoly set. And so I bought it. I have it at my house, and it came with gay bucks inside. So for one of my, like, I think for my birthday or something, my wife got me this like money shooter card that like it shoots all of these like papers out, and so I filled it with gay bucks and I started shooting them around the house. So it was just amazing.
No.
My God, dude, it was so funny. So we have this photo of what I believe is your rental car for Recce. Is this at Olympus? Where is this?
That's
Yep,
that's
that's
at Olympus.
Olympus.
Yep.
Is this you guys just checking out the track, seeing kind of the layout and everything?
I think that's a P
Right.
brake.
Recce stands for reconnaissance. So yeah, this one is this one's a P brake. Yep, that exactly is the P brake.
That's cool, man. So you guys are up in Washington State. Beautiful view. This is amazing.
Yeah, surprisingly, it was clear. The first few days of reconnaissance was really rainy, so you couldn't see very far. But towards the end of the event, we were at sea level, so you could see a couple 100 miles, and we could see like Mount Rainier from where we were at. It was pretty gnarly.
Wow, that's cool. So, what was kind of like the lead up to Olympus? Like, what were you guys expecting? Did you have really high expectations? Was the car running well? Like, just kind of give us like a rundown of like what the days before leading up to and like the first day on the track was.
I was just hope Ethan was
Man,
going to
I-
shower.
I mean, I wasn't nervous because I mean, Snowdrift is so unpredictable. I mean, I think everybody's a little nervous for Snowdrift because it's like going to Talladega or Daytona. It's like, there's always going to be a big one. And it may not even be your fault, right? So going to Olympus, being on gravel, you're more in control, and it's like you're in control of your destiny a lot more than Snowdrift. So I was definitely a lot less nervous, but then on our first day of rallying, I was definitely a little timid still. So a little bit of Snowdrift kind of crept into Olympus, making sure I didn't roll the car over or do anything silly and ruin our weekend early. So we did just kind of go out there with the intentions of, finishing and just, getting the experience of, completing a rally. You learn so much more when you finish a rally than, doing a section of a rally and then ending. So we definitely completed what we wanted to do. But I definitely left a lot of speed on the table, and I definitely wish I would have went harder. But then that's why we got Colorado coming up in July. We're gonna push hard for July for sure.
Hell yeah.
And quick shout out, Ethan's already put it in my ear. For anyone wondering, there's a probable chance that our canola oil Baja will be Ethan's choice for Recce.
Oh, sick.
Just saying. We're working out logistics right now as we speak. I'm not kidding. I'm talking to some people, and as long as you can drive manual transmission, Ethan,
I can make that work.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I have to
I
ask.
can learn in 2 weeks, 2 months.
I don't know if you're used to automatic, with the paddle shifters, but this is
It's
a
not a
5-speed, so
Yeah.
no, it's not a CVT.
Ethan, I
Actually,
hear
we're thinking about converting it.
I hear you just rev it to 4,000 and shove it in the gear and it'll just go. You
Yeah,
don't even have to.
perfect.
You don't even need the clutch pedal. You just bang, bang.
No, the Baja is actually, all my employees highlight how fun it is. So I think you guys would have a really fun time on it. And again, there's a probable, let's call it a 90% chance that you guys will be driving the Baja.
That'd be awesome. That's a sick
And-
Recce vehicle. They're
I'm
really
also
rare.
I'm gonna bolt in a brat seat into the trunk, and I'm gonna be in the back. Is that legal?
Well,
As
we'd have
long
to-
as
we'd have to.
we'll have to make an inquiry and request you, but I think with what we're going to be bringing to the table, and if we vlog it, I think they'll accept it for sure.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
think-
put a brat seat in the back, and I'm gonna bolt myself in. I'll have a seatbelt, lap belt.
Dave, but we're only going to be able to do that if you can fit your car seat on the back there, and then we can put you in that, and then you'll be able to get around the track.
Yeah.
I just
Hey, is
wanted
that thing
safety
5
first, Dave. We got to put you in the
5
car.
by 120. Is it 5 by
5
100?
by 100.
Perfect. We're putting rally wheels on it.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
rally
I
wheels on the
already have an
canola.
ARA approved helmet, so I can I'll wear a helmet the whole time in the
Oh,
back
for
seat.
You
in the
don't
back.
need to do that, but that would be sick.
Oh my god,
The helmet's not required, but
Dave,
maybe
can you
you
get
can
I'll
do
get
that
a
anyway.
360 in.
Dave, can we get you
Yeah,
in
I'm
a
gonna instant
star?
360 camera,
Dude,
and I'll film the
dude,
whole thing from the back seat.
we
the
need a
back
star.
trunk.
We need a star spangled jumpsuit for Dave, And Dave, we need to. Oh, Dave has the meta glasses.
Amazon.
Dave, you
Amazon
can record
right now.
You can record in reverse with the meta glasses. Just oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's
That's
not
gonna
a
be fun.
left
Does
3. That's a left 5.
Does
Oh my
the
God.
AC work
You are
in it?
breaking the car.
Yes. Yes. Flawlessly. It's amazing.
We need it.
Even with the canola oil, this Baja runs perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it.
You know, Dave, I'm just gonna say you're putting a lot of faith in Ethan, who has already flipped a car in his first 2 rallies, and you're gonna be sitting in the
Okay,
bed of the
okay.
truck while he's driving.
So I'm in the bed. Do you know that the Baja infamously has roll bars built into the bed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you shorter than the roll bar?
I'm short enough. So for all the short jokes, I could actually survive a rollover in a Baja in the bed and be fine.
Yeah, joke's on you. Who's the little guy now?
I just had a vision of the SOS team comes out and it's just a rolled over Baja and all you see is Dave's legs and canola oil everywhere. And they're like, what is going on?
What is happening right now? Did KFC just crash?
What is happening?
Are we gonna have a fresh oil
My
change
gosh.
beforehand?
According to the mileage right now, probably not. So you guys might be the breaker. You guys actually might be the break of 3,000 miles, according to my math right now.
Ethan, you get to drive
You
it
might
over the
get to do
threshold.
3,000 miles
3K.
over the threshold.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Man. Dude, I'm hyped. I'm hyped to see the Baja canola oil truck out there. It's gonna be amazing.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited to wreck you a
Well, I
Subaru.
got a
I've never
couple
wrecked
more.
a Subaru.
Let's go.
There you
We're
go,
gonna make it
first time.
happen. Let's go. I got you, Ethan.
Oh man. And then Ethan, if you do need an SOS vehicle, the Baja will be there to tow you out, just in case.
Sick.
That's a wrap on part 1 with Ethan Hunter and his co-driver Alex. Huge thanks to both of them for sitting down with us. If you enjoyed this one, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed because part 2 is coming and you do not want to miss it. We'll catch you then.